So SentiSum is in the customer experience space. A lot of people also call it the voice of customer space. So traditionally, voice of customer used to be feedback based, survey based, like Qualtrics, Medallia, and the likes. SentiSum is in the new era. We are an AI native company, and when I say AI native, I mean it. We are not a wrapper. We were actually one of the first few in the space to be AI native, which means that we analyze all your feedback across channels, not just your support data or your feedback data, but like online reviews, social media, any data that you pass through. We analyze all of that and we come back with real-time insights, actionability, and actually suggest you what to do to improve your retention. Like in the current era where SentiSum is, especially the post-AI world, I was the first marketer to join SentiSum. So when I joined, they had done a ton of SEO work, but that was back in 2024. Some of 2024, maybe a couple of months in 2025, but that's about it. And that SEO was not built for the AI world. It was built for when you used to use Google search to do it. So when I joined SentiSum, the objective was not that the SEO is not working. The objective was that how do we balance Google and AI visibility? And also the fact that we had moved beyond being just a feedback tool. We were now an analytics play, customer intelligence. We actually had AI included in the product where you could ask questions and get answers from. So that was the main challenge I was trying to solve. So with TripleDart, the brief was very simple. Keep the rankings where they are and improve them for the current keywords, but find me new keywords where I need to rank to compete with the modern age tools, not just Qualtrics and Medallia, but the other players who are coming in the intelligence space, in the VOC space. At the same time, keep my AI visibility high so that I build basically an inbound engine, because till then it had been a founder-led sales motion. I mean, even today, I think the same way I used to think earlier. The only thing that has changed is the speed of execution. With AI, things are changing every 3-4 months. Even earlier, technically, you were still making changes every year with Google because Google would change their SEO algorithm. So I feel like the basics haven't changed. You still need to write good content, authentic content. You still need to write for the problems that your buyers are trying to solve rather than generic keywords. And with AI, actually, it's been a benefit for me because in AI, you are not going to go and search a VOC platform, which Google does. In AI, you would have a very specific search question that, I am so-and-so, I'm looking for a VOC platform to solve this. That makes my job as a marketer much easier actually, because I can then write for an actual use case. That actually helps because I don't need to keyword stuff. I don't need to write about 10 keywords. I can focus on the genuine problems my sales team is facing in the sales recordings, and I focus only on that. So for me, like AI has been a big advantage, to be honest. Like the more people search on AI, the better for me, because then I don't have to follow the traditional playbook of, I have to rank for 30 keywords. I just want to rank for the right business query. Because see, I'm an early stage marketer. You have to always keep that in mind. SentiSum is very young. I'm a single marketer right now. I can't possibly rank for 100 keywords and compete against a giant like Medallia or a Qualtrics. So I have to be realistic. AI is good for me because people are still finding me. So I have been in SaaS for about 14 years now. I have known Shyam for about the last 4 or 5 years. I've met Manoj in person. Even for a previous company I used to work for, I met him there. I actually tried bringing them on board there, but things didn't work out. So you could say this was something which was bound to happen at some point. I've always wanted to work with TripleDart in some capacity. In fact, one of the previous organizations I worked with back in 2024, File, I recommended them to go with TripleDart when I left. And right now, I think File is a TripleDart client. So I had already known TripleDart, heard good things about them. I did evaluate a few other agencies for this because this was like a very tight budget thing and we were new. I mean, what basically flipped in favor of TripleDart is your writing team. And I'm being absolutely honest here. The fact that you have writers for every domain and the fact that you can source writers for each domain, that was a big turning point for me, because every other agency I talked to, no one offered me writing services to the extent which TripleDart did. The fact that you would have writers who knew the domain made it so much easier for me to work with TripleDart. I'll break this into 2 parts, the before and after. So before TripleDart came in, and TripleDart came in around August 2025. Before that, my focus was on cleaning up the website. The idea was, first, let's figure out what our messaging should be, what our core positioning should be now, and then start working on the SEO part. Because otherwise what happens is you start a SEO process and your messaging is not in sync. You will end up doing it again and again. So before TripleDart, I cleaned up the website, I redesigned it, revamped it, got the changes done so that by the time TripleDart got on board, our new messaging was ready. Then with TripleDart, the focus was that we will only focus on maximum, let's say 2 groups of or 3 groups of keywords at a time. We won't do more than that. So let's say if I have to pick up VOC and customer intelligence and let's say customer experience, I will only pick up those 3 groups and I'll do it 1 group at a time. So let's say you have to do 10 articles in a month. You only focus on 1 group first. Don't focus too much on, doing everything at the same time. Side by side, the strategy that we decided is we'll update all our existing content because the content was good. It was just not in the right format for AI. So we started updating it side by side and we focused one third of our efforts on competitive content. That how can we focus on alternatives, competitors, this versus that content. Because that is a high intent content. At the end of the day, we picked up keywords where we knew that our end outcome would increase. It is not just about traffic. Increasing traffic is easy. You write for the high volume keywords, you'll get the traffic. I didn't care about that. And I've never cared about it throughout my career. The idea was, can I get outcomes? And that's what happened after TripleDart started working with us. So just to give you a quick glimpse into, what we achieved with TripleDart. Since TripleDart started working with us properly full-time on SEO, our traffic increased by 25% overall. But that's not the number which matters. I'll tell you another number which people will think it's negative, but it's not. Our organic search traffic actually dipped by 20%. But you know what changed? The submissions on the demo form increased by 176% over a period of 6 months. So it was not about organic search traffic dipping. It was about the right traffic coming to the website and the junk traffic that we were getting going away. That is what I achieved with TripleDart. There have been 2 things, which stand out for me. I've worked with a lot of agencies over my over a decade career in marketing. There are 2 things which stand out. One is proactiveness with TripleDart. I never have to remind them of a thing. Sometimes they do it even before I've thought of something. Just to give a small example, we were struggling with form conversions at some point during our engagement. There was a month where it really dipped. Even before I could message Sidhu, who was my account POC, he had already built a report on that. He had already he messaged me that, hey, I see the numbers are dipping. Let me work out a report. And I was about to ping in the same thing. So that is a big change for me, working with other agencies, because typically you tell them what to do. With TripleDart, it's like they were advising us every bi-weekly call, what should I do next? Or can we do this also? Can we do backlinks? Can we do this? They never forced anything on me because they knew we had budget constraints, we have limited resources, and I'm a single marketer. But they were always clear that, if you do this, this is what you can get out of it. They never shied away from telling that. They knew how to prioritize. The second big thing I really liked working with TripleDart was, just because they were doing SEO for me, didn't mean they didn't help me with other things when I required help. Because at the end of the day, SEO is dependent on other functions. It's not just an SEO function, and they understand that. So when I told them that, my ads are not performing well, can you give me feedback on my landing page? Can you give me some feedback on my homepage? Do you think we should change something in the forms? The conversions on some pages are not doing well. They were always happy to help. And those are the 2 things that stand out for me. There are many more things, but these are the 2 things that stand out to me in terms of how they work. And one big props is the entire team being really responsive on Slack all the time. No one shying away from it. If someone's not there, someone else would take over. But there would rarely be any delay caused unless and until it was a basic operational bottleneck. I would. In fact, just to give a very honest answer, I recommended TripleDart a couple of days back to someone. Someone was asking for an SEO agency on a WhatsApp group. And the first name that came to mind was TripleDart. And I have done that in the past as well, because I feel what Shyam and Manoj have built is it's not just about starting an agency. A lot of people have agencies. There are very few agencies you want to work with again and again. And for me, TripleDart is that one of those agencies where I would be if I need a certain problem solved in a certain space, and I know that TripleDart has done that in the past, even once, I would go with them. As simple as that.